No, it's a mammal, mate. It's just like, it's the same as you, basically.
Just cleverer. Hello, Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, and welcome to the Four Takes Movie Podcast. I'm Martin.
I'm Luke.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Colin.
Who is this? Where's David?
David's probably got gastrointestinal troubles. He did last time, so maybe it's the same thing again. Colin's with us today because he's our resident shark expert, a la Jaws expert.
I've seen every episode of Shark Week that's ever been on the Discovery Channel. So yeah, that makes me the shark expert. Here I am.
Excellent.
I actually have a pair of slippers that are shaped as sharks as well, so I don't know if that adds to the kudos.
If you've ever wanted an expert, that's all the credentials you'll ever need.
Shark slippers.
Shark slippers.
We were having a discussion about sharks just prior to this, weren't we, Luke? Mm-hmm. About how long a shark actually can live for. Oh, I found that fascinating because
long time, I'm assuming.
Longer than humans.
They reckon it could be nearly 400-year-old and they have 3,000 teeth on average. Is that right? 3,000 teeth on average?
They continuously grow teeth throughout their entire life. So it's not like they have certain sets of teeth. They just continuously grow them. God, the Discovery Channel's good, isn't it?
That's why a lot of surfers always have shark teeth necklaces, because they're all about the place.
And you find them everywhere. So you find... The only record of sharks in the fossil record is their teeth, because they don't have any bones. So when a shark dies and sinks to the bottom of the sea and gets buried under the sand and stuff, it's only the teeth that survive. The rest of it just rots away because it doesn't have bones. So you only ever find the teeth of shark.
They don't have like a rib cage and all that?
No, they're completely made of cartilage.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Hey,
is that the same as like what dolphins? Are they cartilage or?
No, it's a mammal, mate. It's just like, it's the same as you, basically.
Just cleverer.
The oldest known shark, 400 years, is a Greenland shark. There you go. That's the oldest known living shark.
Greenland shark.
I think that might have been the one that Gemini was telling us about, wasn't it? It was about 400-year-old or something.
Yeah. Literally has seen the last 400 years. Was around before pre-industrial revolution.
Jeez.
It was around before Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Well, I was just we're talking about the 3,000 teeth thing, which makes Jaws all the more terrifying for that fact, because if you got bitten by a shark once, potentially that's 3,000 puncture wounds instantaneously. You do not stand a chance.
No, I think it has 3,000 teeth over its lifetime, but not all at the same time.
It must have at least 50 or 60 in there at any one time.
It's in the hundreds, at one time, big shark. They have like rows of teeth, so it might have 3 or 4 rows of teeth.
So not 3,000 all in one go?
At one time, no.
Gemini stitches up.
At the end of the day, it's still going to hurt.
I watched, for the first time in ages, with the wife, on the other night, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Cool.
Right.
Did you say the first time?
No, I've seen it before, but my wife has never seen it before.
Okay.
I think I've only ever watched it on telly, because I watched it on this 4K Blu-ray that I've got now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised by what I saw. Because I'm pretty sure I had no idea that there is a 3-minute black screen overture right at the beginning of the movie.
Is it?
I was sitting there for 3 minutes thinking, there is something wrong with my telly. I can hear it, but I can't see a thing. And then it all of a sudden kicked in. Dawn of Man, that sort of thing. And I didn't know, halfway through the movie, there's an intermission followed by another 3-minute black screen overture. I was at a loss.
I mean, that sums up space, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just continuous black.
Yeah. Is it not because... When did you never watch it on the mainstream TV?
I think I've watched it on the telly, but I think when it's been on the telly, they've cut all this extra fluff out.
Yeah,
not fluff. I mean, there was good music. It was very operatic, but I'd never seen it before, and for a moment I panicked. I had to press the button on my PlayStation 5 remote to see the little bar come across to see that the telly was actually still working.
Yeah,
and I thought just go with it. Just go with it.
Do you think it made the film better having that in?
No. I think I like I've seen it before, and I can appreciate Space Odyssey 2001: A Space Odyssey. But I think there is a great movie in there filled with a little bit too much long shots. I get it. It's an impressive movie. The way they've done the special effects, how it's all practical, it still holds up today. It looks fantastic. But, you know, cut it down a bit. Put some more blasters in there or something like that. There's no lightsabers in it.
Yeah. It's not Moonwalker, is it?
It's no Moonwalker. What a movie. I love Moonwalker. It's half concert followed by half movie.
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci's in it?
Oh, aye, Joe Pesci was in it.
What was he called? Mr. Big?
He was only short.
I think that's the dichotomy, isn't it? I watched an interesting one the other night, something that's been on my list for years. The Congress with Robin Wright. That's an interesting film if anyone wants to watch that, because it's about Robin Wright, the actress, selling her digital image to a film studio called Miramax. So
Miramax, okay.
Miramax and Paramount. And the guy who runs it is a bit of a sleazeball, and I think he's supposed to be a bit like a Harvey Weinstein type, because she actually makes reference to, I'm one of the few actresses who wouldn't sleep with you. Right? But in the film, she's playing herself, and the reference in all the films that she did, and they were saying you're a failed actress, you know, you were going to be the promise of the studio, but you know, you were Robin Wright, you were Princess Buttercup of The Princess Bride, Forrest Gump, you had a couple of hits there, but mainly you ruined your own career by all your bad choices. Anyway, there's a family story hovering around in the background, but ultimately she gives up her rights as an actress so they can have her digitally forevermore in perpetuity. And halfway through the film, it turns into a cartoon where she's represented as lots of different cartoons, and she turns up as an actress or like ex-actress. And you know, what have you done over the last 20 years? And it's all about her basically selling her digital soul. But that's a good one.
I haven't seen much recently. I was on holiday last week, so we didn't sit around watching much. But I'm very excited to be going to see Jurassic Park at the cinema this weekend. So don't tell me what happens. I'm going to see Scarlett Johansson of Park.
Oh, yes.
Don't listen to the last podcast till after you've seen it then.
You'll have a wheel of a time. Right, okay, so shall we get into Jaws?
The movie we're going to talk about today is Jaws, 1975, directed by Steven Spielberg, based on the novel by Peter Benchley, I believe. That's the one. Written only about a year beforehand. But yeah, what we're going to do is going to get into that. It's its 50th anniversary, so we thought it would be an apt time to talk about it. What do you think?
Well, I watched it last night for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to be very broad and say I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was harrowing in places, especially as a father. All the kids on the beach freaked us out, and I think that's what it was supposed to do.
It's gorier than you'd imagine.
Yeah.
At points.
Yeah.
I think one of the cool things about the people on the beach is they all look quite normal. Mm-hmm. Then it's not Baywatch where everybody's supermodels.
Yeah.
Just looks like normal people at the beach.
They haven't got that many thongs up people's asses and stuff like that. It's all just people enjoying a nice bit of sun at the beach.
Absolutely.
When you look at all of the things that you mentioned, like there was no thongs and no stuff like that, because it's filmed like it looks like the 70s, you could actually be there.
It was the 70s. It was filmed in 1974.
It looks as if you could be there today and nothing has changed. And I think that's what, like, it's one of these things that hasn't sort of aged.
It does have a very timeless quality. It's only really the style of the clothes and the cars that really set it in a time period.
Yeah. The other thing about it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was shot on film. Is that right?
Yeah, it definitely was shot on film. Yeah.
So that's obviously why, because the versions that you see today are 4K, and some of them they look fantastic. And you're watching it and you're thinking, yeah, this film like stands the test of time because of the way it was shot.
The 4K transfer of Jaws has been done very well.
I think you mentioned this last time, didn't you?
Yeah. If a film has been filmed on film, it generally has a better chance of being transferred over to a higher definition format rather than something that's being filmed on videotape or on digital cameras and stuff like that. So a lot of older films transfer really well onto high definition formats. But yeah, I mean, the film, as you say, is definitely harrowing at points. Starts off with this beach scene, and then obviously a couple run away to have a bit of a swim. And that scene where she's then attacked by this shark is horrifying.
I mean, it just hits you, doesn't it? Because she's
You
getting
don't see
thrashed
it.
around, and the screaming is incredible. If you stop and listen to the,
She's
if you
screaming
shut your
for
eyes
God.
and listen to the screaming, that is scarier than actually watching it. And then she just disappears, and there's silence, and that's really, really cool shot.
If you had no idea what this film was about, and you just saw that, it's like, what the hell's eating her? Like, what can do that to a person? And then obviously by the rest of the film, you know exactly what it is. I mean, when they catch the first shark and they go, "Oh, this is a shark," and you go, "That's a big shark." And then the expert, is it Richard Dreyfuss?
Richard Dreyfuss plays, is it Hopper?
Matt Hooper.
Matt Hooper. He goes, "That's not the shark. It has a much bigger bite than that." Based on checking out the
body, or what's left of it, the remains.
Yeah.
You know the Jaws posters, which is iconic, isn't it? You buy T-shirts, you can buy posters, and this was a huge merchandising thing. Jaws, the movie, made fortunes from merchandising. Kind of Star Wars is famous for making money from merchandise, but Jaws did it before that, and the poster was a big part of that.
The poster is also the cover of the book.
It's not the cover of the book originally, but it may have become the cover of the book. I don't know. I might have to check facts on that.
I think the original hardback was like a black and white cover, and then the paperback was released with a more colourful one where the shark's bigger and there's more details on the lady.
So they hired this artist to draw that. And he'd never drawn a shark before. In fact, he didn't really know what sharks were. And this was 1975. People, Discovery Channel hadn't been invented yet. People didn't have shark.
How did they
Week.
get their information?
So he went to the library and he picked out a book, and this book had a picture of a shark, and that's what he drew. But he drew a Mako shark. So the shark on the front cover of the poster is a Mako. It's not a great white shark.
They have a point to your nose, don't they, or something like that?
So it was Roger Kestel was the guy who did the artwork for the
Are you Googling over there, Adam?
No, because I was looking.
Yeah, I know. Definitely is.
I was looking at it mainly because he was like the go-to guy to do all of these things.
It's either John Williams or artwork.
Yeah, he's like the poster guy.
The John Williams of VHS boxes.
And he did loads of stuff, but I'm just trying to remember if that is the same artist that did that, but I'm not sure.
Well, segueing into John Williams as well, this movie really... This movie launched a couple of really huge names. Spielberg had done some movies at this point, most notably Duel, if you've ever seen that. It's basically a guy being chased by a truck.
Duel's very interesting. I think there's some interesting parallels between Duel and Jaws, which we can get into later.
Is this Duel, D-U-E-L?
D-U-E-L, yeah. Right. I think it's only really main known film at this point. I think he'd done about 3 or 4. But for Spielberg, this was... He knew that this was his shot and he went for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
He went for it and he blew it out of the water. But not only that...
Literally, he blew it out of the water.
Rob Schneider blew it out of the water.
But obviously, John Williams scored this as well. And this really... lifted him up into the go-to guy for movie soundtracks.
And it was Spielberg, the go-to guy for Spielberg. I mean, how many times did they work together on stuff?
From wide-ranging movies as well, from things like Indiana Jones and stuff like that to stuff like Schindler's List. Massive range in the relationship they had. Mm-hmm. And obviously...
Is he still going?
I believe he's officially retired, but he is well in his 90s now.
Absolutely.
Well, he's done his bit, hasn't he?
I was just a little bit more looking at that, because I did find that guy who we talked about who did the film posters did The Empire Strikes Back, he did The Great Train Robbery, he did quite a few, he did The Invisible Man. So he obviously was one of these people that was go-to for a lot of this artwork.
A lot of those old posters are now considered like artwork, aren't they? They really look. If you've got them, they're framed, they're put up, and they're worth quite a lot of money. Yeah. Some of these original posters that they put up in cinemas for obviously promotion purposes.
Indiana Jones, iconic ones, aren't they?
Iconic, yeah.
Another John Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it starts off horrifically.
Yeah.
And then sort of settles into almost like you're finding out the routine of this Sheriff Brody, played by, is it Roy Schneider?
Roy Schneider, that's
Roy
it.
Schneider, yeah.
Not Rob Schneider.
No, it's a different guy.
Roy Schneider.
Deuce Bigelow. So Deuce Bigelow shows up on this island. So yeah, Sheriff Brody. You see some interaction with him and the townspeople and his family, and everything looks really nice. And obviously, then at some point, some deputy finds the remains of this poor lass who's been.
Chrissy Watkins was the character's name.
Chrissy Watkins.
She was the first victim.
Yeah. They say he knows his stuff, man. Got to get him in for more Jaws movies. Have you seen them all?
I've seen all of the Jaws movies, yes.
Which one's your favourite?
Do you know what? Jaws number 1 is absolutely brilliant. This is not just my favourite film. I think this is objectively the greatest film of all time, but we can get into that later. Jaws 2 is really, really good. Uh-huh. Let's not talk about Jaws 3, because Jaws 3 is...
The Revenge?
Jaws 3, the 3D one.
Oh, 3D. Which one's Jaws the Revenge?
Jaws the Revenge is brilliant. That's one with Michael Caine.
That's right.
Yeah.
Doesn't the shark scream at points in that movie?
The Jaws the Revenge is brilliant.
They're like shooting some kind of sonic weapon or something like that. And it's coming out the...
jumps out of the water.
Like something out of Godzilla.
Something like that, I think. So yeah, the body's then found, and it starts the start of what could be a frenzy, but the sleazy local mayor and all the business owners on this island. Is it Amity?
Amity Island is
Amity Island.
The fictional location.
Summer is coming up, and no bad press can get out because their entire economy is based on their summer period.
Yeah, 4th of July weekend, isn't it?
They need as many people on this island swimming in the water, buying ice creams, staying in the local hotels and all that kind of stuff. Because without that, they're ruined.
There's a scene there where Sheriff Brody's in his sheriff's office, and they found the remains of Chrissy Watkins, and so he's typing up the death report in it, and the camera zooms right in on just a single box on this form, and it says probable cause of death, and he types in, and you see each letter appear on the screen, types in shark attack, and that's an interesting scene because the movie Jaws is based on a real events that occurred in 1916.
Is it? New Jersey, was it?
In New Jersey, the New Jersey shark attacks, there was 5 people mauled within a week. But the first one of those is a chap called Charles Van Zandt. He was the first victim of the Jersey attacks in 1916. And he is the first person in recorded history to have shark attack recorded as his cause of death on his death certificate.
Right.
And it's referenced in the film as well. So when they're telling the mayor, when Brody and Hooper are telling the mayor that this is bad and we need to do something about it, they reference the Jersey attacks. They go, "Oh, this has happened before, Jersey 1916," and those were real events that they were referencing.
Well, there you go.
So Chrissy Watkins is the first victim, and they find the remains, and the Sheriff Brody records it as a shark attack, and they close the beaches, and then the mayor finds out, and this is disaster for the economy. So they there's a scene again on the ferry where they're covering it up.
They ambush them, don't they?
Yeah, they kind of ambush them, and they have the local doctor there. It's like, oh no, it was probably a boat propeller. Yeah, we'll put it down as boat propeller. Yeah,
I changed my mind. It wasn't a shark.
And then and that leads to the beaches being reopened, and everybody goes and they have a lovely time on the beach, and then we have another attack.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 in quick succession, don't we?
We do. We lose Pippin the dog.
Pippin the dog, yes.
Yeah.
And then Alex Kittner,
the little kid.
Yeah, the Kittner boy.
God,
the Kittner boy.
Terrible that was the bit that got me.
That's a brutal scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's his mother like shouting for him.
That's when it's a
realising.
real human tragedy. I think.
Yeah.
It was really well done, that part, because there wasn't any hysterics from the mother. It was just everyone stood at the water's edge, and she walked in, and she was stood alone, and she looked around, and she shouted for her son, and then you saw the dinghy wash up, the little thing that he was on, and I was like, oh my God, that is actually worse than panic. It's like everybody knows what's happened. It was terrible. That was really, really terrible.
But they didn't know what had happened because they didn't know there was a shark there because they'd covered it up. Mm-hmm. And then there's this bit, isn't there, where Mrs. Kittner, she confronts Sheriff Brody
and slaps him.
And she slaps him,
Good slap.
And she says, you knew.
You knew.
It's a great piece of storytelling, really, isn't it? Because it's like saying the audience knows more than the characters on the screen.
Yeah,
more than they want to admit.
The majority of the majority of the townspeople, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the part where it sets off that, like, there's a $3,000 reward to try and catch some shark.
Yeah, really sets up the rest of the movie, the Mrs. Kitten a slap, because that's when, Brody suddenly becomes personally kind of involved in this and personally responsible. And this is a guy who used to be a cop in New York, and he's moved to this sleepy town where nobody gets murdered. And all of a sudden there's deaths and there's funerals and victims, and it's like, you're not sure whether another local sheriff could have handled that, but Brody coming from New York's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get this sorted.
Yeah, and another interesting thing. What was really impressive about the storytelling is, like, in the bit where Hooper comes to his house with these bottles of wine.
Yeah.
And Brody pours out a glass of wine for everyone. He pours himself a tumbler of wine, and then pours out
pint of wine.
Pours his wife and Hooper out a small glass each, and his wife says, "Oh, he hates going in the water. He hates the sea and all that." And Hooper says, "What's the name for that condition?" And he goes, drowning. So in that, and it never explains what happens. It doesn't give you like a dramatic backstory. It just goes, this man is afraid of the sea. He's nervous with his kids being in the sea. He's living on an island, and he goes, it's only an island if you
look at it from the water.
If you look at it from the water, yeah. So he's uncomfortable with everything that's happening outside of this island out in the sea. So obviously this film is about fear, but everyone's got fears. Yeah. So Roy Schneider is he's got his own fear of the sea and of water that he needs to get over. He's got his fear of his kids being in danger. He's fearing for all the townspeople. The mayor is fearing for all the townspeople, the economy and all this, so he's scared. You've got Hooper, he seems to be scared of not being accepted for the expert that he is, because he's come in and he's like, oh yeah, I personally finance all this. It's like a pet project. And when he meets the fisherman Quint, he basically belittles him, and he's afraid that no one's listening to him. And then you've got Quint, who is afraid of sharks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because of his experiences that are explained later in the movie.
So it's very much like fear built on top of fear for a lot of the
whole film is fear.
Yeah.
Fear is an interesting thing, isn't it? And I think the scariest things are the ones that where you have the opportunity to make it up in your own mind, and those are the scariest things.
Yeah,
and I think Jaws does that brilliantly, because it's a horror. But Spielberg, he didn't do much horror after Jaws. But you mentioned Duel earlier on.
Duel's a suspenseful movie.
Tell us about Duel. Tell us.
From what I remember, and it's been years since I've seen it, there's a guy, he's like a businessman, was a suit and shirt and trousers sort of jobby. Does he just pass someone on the road?
He just overtakes
a truck.
Overtakes a truck, yeah.
And that's it. This truck driver has had it with him. That truck driver is at a bad week, and that guy overtaking him,
so he's going to have him. Was there any backstory to
No.
Road rage?
Just triggered.
So it was like the opening scene is like literally someone firing a gun with no context as to why that's happened, and he's just
no one fires a gun. Well, they might do it later.
No, I mean, like, metaphorically, like it's like the bullet has been fired.
But it's not an aggressive, like, the overtaking's not an aggressive act. He just overtakes. He's going faster than the truck, and as any of us would, he just pulls out and drives past him. He doesn't cut in or anything like that. Just drives, and the truck just doesn't like it. So the whole film is basically this truck chasing this fella and terrorizing him, trying to kill him. But the cool thing about Duel, right, is you only ever see the truck. You never see the driver. You see his hand and his feet. Mm-hmm. But this guy's obviously a bit of a psychopath, and we should all be scared of psychopaths. But what this film makes you scared of is your own imagination. Next time you're driving along and you see a truck, you think, what if there's a psychopath driving it? So you're now scared of all trucks.
Yeah.
And what Jaws did, so that's what Spielberg did in Julie, made you scared of all trucks in case there was a lunatic driving it.
Yeah.
And then he made Jaws. Now,
And now no one wants to go swimming.
Every time you go swinging, you think of Jaws.
you don't see that shark until 1 hour into the movie. And there's been 4 victims of shark attack by the time you actually see the shark. And you only see it, the outline of it under the water. It's not till the end when it jumps out and it kills Quentin that you actually see the shark.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
lots
it's that
of,
famous season he's throwing the chum out.
that's it. And
It's
so-
like, here's the money shot
So-
you've been watching for so long.
And it
Jaws.
leads to that famous line. What's the famous line?
You need a bigger boat.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
I need a bigger board.
That's that line.
We all love that line. We use that now, don't we? Everyday context. So
You're gonna need a bigger
boat. Yeah. The fear of Jaws that it created in the audience wasn't a fear of sharks. Nobody came out of that film afraid of sharks. Everybody came out of that film afraid of water in case there was a shark in it.
Yeah.
And there was people coming out of that film who wouldn't go to the swimming baths. They wouldn't get in the bath at home. They had a fear of water. Because you never saw the shark to be scared of it. So we all think it's a film about fear of sharks and sharks, but it's a fear of water. I think that's really cool. That's something Spielberg achieved really well.
There was meant to be more shark in Jaws
There was.
because they made this huge shark like robot type of thing, obviously operated by people, but they tested it in rivers where it was like fresh water. And as soon as they put it in the ocean, because Spielberg wanted it to be real, he wanted to film it in the ocean, as soon as he stuck this big huge shark animatronic in the water, it broke because of the salt water. There was bits of it falling off and stuff like that. So he had to adapt what he was filming and adapt the ideas he had to show less of the shark. And look what he got out of it.
But I think because he'd done Duel, he knew that would work.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Hitchcock, isn't it? You let the audience decide what's terrifying by showing them just enough.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Psycho, isn't it? That whole shower scene where she's being murdered. You never see the knife go in. There's not one shot where a knife touches her.
Blimey, he's right.
It's the music, isn't it?
It's your brain putting it in,
As well. And it's
filling in the gaps.
And that brings you back to the dun because the know the musical cues help fire the anticipation.
2 chords. Doo-doo. And that's everyone knows what it is instantly. doesn't it?
Yeah,
Which isn't
yeah,
that.
just
Just fear, instant fear.
It's crazy when you think about it. It's like they've managed to like work it out and say, well, look, the human imagination is the cheapest canvas they can draw upon and play into the imagination of the person watching it. And I think some of the story writing at the beginning, that's exactly what happens. You've got instant drama.
It instantly grabs you with the first attack scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, show them something where they're now filling in the blanks for what's going on, and then you've got them for another 30 minutes. And then it's like, right, okay, what can we do in the next 30 minutes? Yeah, you're along for the ride, I think, after the first few minutes of the film, to be fair.
There's a black and white movie in I think it was the 50s. It's called The Haunting. It's basically about this haunted house.
I think I might have seen this.
And at not one point in that movie do you see a ghost.
Is that the one where the staircase rattles? The spiral staircase?
It's all just implied. You never see a ghost in any of it.
Like the Blair Witch Project.
The Blair Witch Project is an amazing movie, I think. That last scene ruined me. As she's screaming a bit in the corner. Because it's not the witch, is it? It's that blooming murderer. Anyway, Jaws. So the dog and the poor boy's being killed. It's sent out a frenzy of like fishermen trying to catch a shark to get the reward. They'll catch a tiger shark. He gets slapped because, and they filmed that 17 times, that slap.
It was a great slap. It became a bit of a fetish. People would see the actress on the street and they're like, slap me, slap me. It's really-
You had to tell them no eventually. Then everyone thinks they've got the shark, but Hooper knows that that's not the shark.
Hooper
And
knows.
Quint knows that it's not the shark because as he's going past,
Yeah, you see
he's
Quint,
laughing
don't
his
you? And
head
he's
off.
laughing, he's going,
He's
"That's
laughing
not
his head
it."
off. He knows. And then they open the beaches up again. So everyone thinks it's great. And
After they have the wine, they go and cut it open.
that's after they've cut it open. But the officials and the mayor, they're all like, "We caught the shark. Yeah, let's get back on the beaches. Spend your money." So it all happens again. Every normal, regular person is on the beach, and then we have another attack. But it happens not out in the ocean. It happens in
the pond. There's this kind of little tidal pond, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's in close proximity to Brody's kid.
Yeah, because Brody sends his son, doesn't he, Michael,
to there.
He says, "Oh, don't play in the ocean. Go and play in the pond."
And it's really personal now.
Yeah. And I think, he ends up in the hospital, and that's quite a cool scene as well, where the family's all in the hospital and Michael's in shock, and it does get it's very personal then, isn't it?
Yeah. Have they found Ben Gardner at this point?
We found Ben Gardner. Yes, we did find Ben Gardner. Ben Gardner was the fourth victim.
So
the shark, the jumpy scene,
the one where the head rolls out the hole in the bottom of the boat.
Oh yeah,
they go out on Hooper's boat, don't we?
Hooper finds that one, doesn't he?
So do you know when Ben Gardner, when Hooper first gets off the boat when he's coming to Amityville, he says hello to someone, and the guy goes hello back. That's Ben Gardner.
It is.
So that's the guy. That scene with the head was filmed after the film had finished.
All right.
When they did a test scream, and the first scream that happened was when the shark jumped out the water.
Cool.
But they wanted an extra scream, so they filmed that. At this point, Ben Gardner had just gone missing. That's all we know.
Yeah.
But then they filmed that extra scene and got the first scream in the movie.
Well, the sound effect as well sounds like a scream when the head like rolls into the space under the underside of the boat and it goes. Ah.
It's done really well as well, because if you watch it really closely, it actually looks like the bottom jaw of a shark coming through, and then suddenly it's a head, and it really does make you jump. It still makes me jump after hundreds of times.
Eyeball hanging out.
I mean, I could, yeah.
So they decide, after all this happens and his son obviously gets in that close call and is in the hospital shocked, they then decide to go with Quint's idea of like giving him his money, giving him his 10,000 and then getting out on that water with him and like hunt this thing down.
And this is an actual like second part of the whole film, because you're on the island, and then the second part of the film
you're in the ocean, and it's really cool it's in the ocean, because you talk about the shark not working because they were in the ocean. And can you imagine if they'd filmed it in a studio or in a lake and they'd used the big rubbish looking mechanical shark?
Yeah.
It would have been such a rubbish film. But the fact that they did it in the ocean made it feel very real. And then the fact that the shark didn't work and they couldn't use it and they built all this fear up also made the film awesome. So I think film it in the ocean was just such a cool decision by Spielberg.
It would have just been a B movie, wouldn't it? Like a creature feature of the
It would have been awful. Yeah. It would have been one of those.
Instead of what it became, which was like a phenomenon.
It would have been Jaws 3.
Enough said.
You know, when you would normally see a film and you're like, oh, well, and this happened. But because it encouraged fear emotions, you're like, it's as if you were there.
This film sticks with you because it's that well made. That's so. And I know you watched it last night. I think the last time I watched it was probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And that was the first time my wife had watched it. I'm trying to introduce my wife to all these classic films. But yeah, it's just so well made that it sticks with you. There are some movies that you just watch and then forget. This is not one of them.
A lot of the time I watch films, but I'm always busy doing something else and I'll have a film on. Or I'll put a film on and then I'll do something on my phone, I'll get the computer out. And then the film will finish. But Jaws, every time I put Jaws on, I sit and I watch all of Jaws and do nothing else until it finishes.
I make a point now, because I used to be like that. But now I make a point, and probably for the last, say, 2 years, everything goes off. No phone, no nothing, and we just watch the film.
Yeah.
And so that's our routine now. So, and to be honest, I'm enjoying movies a lot more lately. I've always loved movies, but I really enjoy them now.
Too many distractions.
So we're on the water. So there are obviously some scenes in regards to them putting barrels in the, encountering the shark.
Yeah, this is Quint's strategy, isn't it? He fires these air-filled barrels into sharks
to try and lift it to the surface so it
wears
can't.
The shark out.
Exactly.
Genius.
But then we have this scene where it's nighttime, things are calming down a bit, so they all get round the table, and
I love this.
And
bit,
this is the bit where we start like comparing the scars and stuff like that. But then we get the story from Quint about his experience.
The build-up's really interesting though, because we've had Quint and Hooper kind of at each other, and this whole kind of you're the young whippersnapper, you don't know as much as me, but I've got a degree, so they're having. There's all of this kind of tension between Hooper and Quint, and then they start comparing scars and stories and having a bit of a laugh and having a bit of a drink, and they kind of become friends.
There's a mutual respect
They
for
really
them.
bond and form some respect. There's this cool little bit where they're comparing all their shark bites. Here's a scar from this shark. And I don't know if you see it. Brody looks down at an appendix scar. And he decides not to say anything. That's quite cool.
So he tells the story about, is it the Missouri?
The USS Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, I think it was one of the ships.
Was that true?
That
story?
did
That
happen,
is a
yes.
true story.
Yeah.
The USS Indianapolis delivered the Hiroshima bomb, and it was in fact torpedoed by a Japanese submarine on the return journey, and all of those sailors did end up in the water. The thought is that the implication in Quint's story is that most of them are eaten by sharks. But I think the true story is that some were killed by sharks, but most kind of died they were in the water a long time, so most kind of died from exposure and dehydration. But the sharks would have eaten the corpses, absolutely. But it's very, very gruesome.
The way he tells the story as well,
It's incredible.
it's like you're imagining everything he's talking about. It's so well delivered. It's like, wow.
But he's telling it like a world weary, the way he's not really changing his tone as he's telling it all. It's all
matter of fact,
shaking his head while he's saying it, and it's something you would hear about some guy talking in a pub, talking about some shit that happened to him in the past.
Like it's not the first time he's told this sort of thing.
Oh, it's not the first time he's relived it in his head. He's living it over and over and over. This memory, he thinks of it multiple times a day.
That's why he hunts sharks.
That's why he hunts sharks. He's terrified of them, and he wants to kill them all.
So something that Jaws did was turned a lot of people against sharks. A lot of people wanted to be Quint, and they went out and they started hunting sharks for trophies.
Yeah.
And other people in the world thought this was quite cool because they'd seen Jaws as well, and sharks are scary. So yeah, let's kill them all. And this horrified Peter Benchley as a person, because he was like, hang on, I wrote this book and that made this film and that's inspired all of this shark killing. But it also, what Jaws did as well, is it inspired a lot of people who wanted to be Matt Hooper. So a lot of people watched Jaws and wanted to be Matt Hooper rather than Quint.
They wanted to know more. They wanted to be
they wanted to do the science and because Matt Hooper was really cool. Let's face it, what a cool guy. Who wouldn't want to be Matt Hooper?
Yeah.
Because he could be funny, but then he could be dramatic at delivering the lines.
Absolutely.
So he was a good character.
Shark conservation really took off after Jaws. A lot of people went and studied marine biologist and wanted to be Matt Hooper. And now you look at where shark conservation's at, with all of the interest it gets and all the funding it gets now, it's in a really good place. And without Jaws, that might not have happened.
Good legacy of 50 years, isn't it?
Definitely.
But yeah, Matt Hooper, he did die in the book. He was killed by the shark when he's in the cage. He goes down in the cage, he gets eaten by the shark.
There's a lot of differences with the book. There's a whole mob storyline in the book and stuff like that.
Do you know why they changed it in the film?
Because he didn't have the affair with his wife or something like that?
No, they wanted some real great white shark footage to supplement the film. So they sent another team to Australia to film real great white sharks in the wild.
Oh, is that where it gets tangled up in the top of the...
So these guys are in Australia trying to film sharks with a cage. And the first time they go in, they find this massive great white shark in Australia, and it goes absolutely nuts on the cage. It literally destroys the cage. That is totally real, and it was totally
real
accidental.
footage.
Real
footage of a shark.
And the guy in that cage as well.
And the guy who's filmed it comes back to America, and he's got the most incredible great white shark footage anyone has ever captured in history. And they're like, and you watch it and the cage is there, and the shark's destroyed it, but there's nobody in the cage. So they're like, oh, we can't use it because Hooper's supposed to be in the cage.
Yeah.
So they can't use this absolutely incredible footage of great white sharks.
So they changed the story.
So they changed the story and said, well, if Hooper gets out of the cage and swims to the bottom, then the shark can just destroy an empty cage. And that's why Hooper survives in the film.
Gosh.
Excellent. That is a brilliant adaptation for circumstances, isn't it?
But then that whole shark conservation piece, imagine if Hooper gets eaten in the film, how many kids want to be shark biologists then?
Well, yeah, true, yeah.
So what an incredible thing to have happened just by this quirk of fate.
Yeah.
So that scene then leads on to the damage to the cage, and then the damage to the boat, and it's starting to list at the rear, or the port start?
The stern.
The stern. So So it starts to list, and this is where Quint's worst nightmare comes into it.
Oh, yeah.
This guy has lived his whole life since that incident in fear of being killed by a shark, and at this point he gets, it's not a nice death. He gets mangled by this shark and then dragged down.
Yeah.
All those 3 rows of teeth going into his midriff, basically.
All 3,000.
All 3,000 of them at the same time. And then that obviously from there, that leads on to Brody now being on his own and having to adapt somehow.
Yeah.
And he's just scrambling around trying to survive and fight. And when it starts coming into the cab, because the cab's now underwater, he starts throwing everything at it, which one of them just happens to be a pressurized air bottle.
Yeah.
It's a bit cliche though, isn't it?
It's not cliche, mate. I think if something was coming through a window at me and I would be chucking everything at it.
It's all foreshadowed that as well on the boat, because he mentions that he goes, "Oh, these are pressurized air canisters. There'll be a massive explosion." And I think Quint says something about feeding the shark one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I don't know what your shark could do with all the fancy equipment. Might eat it.
Yeah. So that's all foreshadowed before it actually happens, which I thought was really clever as well.
And I do love that last smile, you son of a. Oh, it's a great explosion as well.
The best part of that is he's on the mast, and the mast is slowly going down on an oblique angle. He's going to end up in the shark's territory.
He's got to hit that tank, otherwise,
and he's running out of time. And the shark's coming towards him, and you think he's going to end up in the water. And as soon as he ends up in the water, that shark's just going to bite him. He manages to get that shot off. The tension building of that bit is just absolutely amazing.
It's fantastic.
It is. It's fantastic. 4 takes.
Best and worst?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is going to be hard though. Oof. So I personally think the best bit is, I have to think it's that opening scene, because it sets the tone for the rest of the movie. That attack scene on that lass. What's her name, Chrissy?
Chrissy Watkins.
Chrissy Watkins is horrifying.
Yeah.
And for a film at the time when it was released on home media, when I first saw it, was a PG.
Nice.
Because the 12 rating didn't exist at that point. Mm-hmm. Give over.
So is that the best bit?
That's the best bit in regards to how it sets the tone for the whole movie. I don't really think there's a bad moment in this movie, really. It's, if anything, there's not really even what I would call a slow part, because it's all establishing.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it there.
I'm going to keep it brief, but I think my favourite part is where you find out about the sheriff's character and how it so succinctly gives you the backstory with just one word: drowning.
Yeah.
It tells you everything you need to know about the bloke. And I thought that was an excellent piece of writing. Also, do you know the part where you sit on the beach and this old guy comes up one with like a swimming cap on? And he goes, "That's some bad hat, Harry." You ever heard that before? Bad Hat Harry. It's the production company of Bryan Singer. That's where that name comes from. Because at the end of the programs, he goes, "That's some bad hat, Harry," and that's what he says to the old guy.
Oh, it's quite interesting. That for me, the best part of it is whoever is watching it to use their imagination quite a lot throughout the film. I think that's a big, powerful play. Less is more for this film. The fear factor drives the need to carry on watching it. So I think that for me is kind of one of the best things about this film. Our special guest?
There's loads of cool bits. Yes, obviously the Chrissy Watkins attack is brilliant. Robert Shaw's speech we talked about, that is such a good scene. Mm-hmm. The whole bigger boat thing, love that bit. But I think Mrs. Kittner's slap is such a cool bit of the film, because they're so jubilant that they've caught this big tiger shark. There's lots of celebrating, there's lots of shouting, there's people running around, there's loads of stuff going on, and then all of a sudden Mrs. Kittner comes up and she's dressed in black. She's been to the funeral, and Brody was celebrating the shark, and now he sees Mrs. Kittner. She comes and she slaps him, and it's just like all of that jubilation just drops to nothing. Yeah. And that sets the film up then for going out to sea to get the real shark. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's a really cool scene. There is a bit that we haven't talked about, and it's a bit of the film that I don't like, and this might be a bit controversial. When they're cutting open the tiger shark and they find the license plate, and it's a 007 Louisiana
it's because
license plate. I just think it's unnecessary.
That's because Spielberg was in line to direct one, or he wanted to direct one, or something like that.
He wanted to direct a Bond film, apparently. So this is the story anyway. Spielberg wanted to direct a Bond film, and he got turned down for it. And there was the Bond film with the in Louisiana with the strange sheriff who was chasing him around. Which one was that one?
Oh my God! It was the one where he runs over the crocodiles, isn't it?
Yeah, that daft one. That's what it's kind of based on.
Oh, crikey! What's it called?
Oh.
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die. It is Live and Let Die. That one. Yeah. You're right. So there was that kind of dig at it, and then later on, there's the other Bond link, isn't there? Because obviously in 1977, The Spy Who Loved Me comes out, and who's the bad guy? Jaws. The guy with the metal teeth, and he eats a shark at the end, doesn't he, Jaws? And then so I just don't like and then Spielberg trying to do a Bond movie again. So Spielberg had absolutely killed it with Jaws. He absolutely killed it with Close Encounters. And he still couldn't land a Bond film. And I think it's because of that tit for tat that the Bond and Jaws franchises had.
Apparently that's one of the reasons he accepted the job for Indiana Jones, because he wanted that sort of like main character energy.
But yeah, I think that might have cost us a Spielberg Bond film, which I think would have been class.
Still time.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently Denis Villeneuve's doing the next one.
That's correct.
But I don't like the scene with the 007 license plate. It's just pointless, and it takes away from the story a little bit.
It's a bit of fan service almost. Not necessary.
Next time,
well, we talked about it earlier. Should we do it? Princess Bride?
Well, now that I've seen that Robin Wright film, I want to go and see The Princess Bride again, and there are so many quotable moments in that film.
It's inconceivable how many there are. I think it's a film that it tries to poke fun at all of these like different types of movies, you know, your swashbuckling movies, your princess movies, and all that kind of stuff, and it's the best of all of them.
It's kind of the original parody movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Without being like Naked Gun. It's a good film in itself without being too silly.
So do you want to watch Princess Bride next?
I think we should do Princess Bride. It's a fantastic film.
As you wish.
I like what you did there. Right, okay, so that's the Four Takes Movie Podcast. I've been Luke.
I'm Martin.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Colin.
Our special guest.
Boop, boop. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.